Hey everyone, this is Jeff Neidiger, owner of Jeff Buys Your House. I'm here with a very special friend and guest, Chris Kasper, retired Army Staff Sergeant, and a man that I adore as a friend and a former soldier. Just an amazing guy. We're going to do some rapid fire questions and have some fun. So here we go. Chris?
Thanks, buddy. Me.
What?
Me.
Oh my gosh, he couldn't even hit. Well, you might have been.
Jeff. Barely.
I might have squeaked out a few better.
Couple more questions.
Couple push-ups more. You ever trade your MRE? Or you just take what you got? What was your favorite MRE?
Chicken and rice.
Yeah, mine was more like a chunked and formed pork loin. I just lost it out of the package.
Or the four sauces of death.
But one of them had M&M's in it, and that was good.
Yes, M&M's.
Pound cake.
Fries.
Plenty of pound cake.
That was so good. So good.
Hey, when you're hungry and you open that MRE, you didn't have to boil some of those. You just go after it.
Yay. Do what you got to do.
You just get that.
Jeff.
Why? Why do you think that?
I think you're still more formal than I am today.
Although I did win biggest goofball. Probably Chris, because I would walk into his room, even at his house, and he'd have things 2 inches apart, 2 inches apart, 2 inches apart. So I'd always kind of mess up his junk, and he'd be like, "Who did this to me? This is just right, Chris. I spent all afternoon doing this."
That's 100% accurate. There's a little OCD there. So he would come in and mess it up, and just would mess with me too.
Chris.
Yes.
Chris was very, very prepared, very mission-driven, very excited, and probably a much better communicator. I was more the hammer and get it done. He was very thorough in his explanation, which I know was well-received.
Jeff was a class clown. Jeff and I sat on a fuel tanker on the way back from Spain for like 14 hours.
That was the only plane they had to get back from Madrid, Spain, come back from Afghanistan or Iraq?
That was Iraq. That was Iraq in 2004. We flew back and we received special instructions not to go up to the camera and just stay professional. Jeff walked right past the camera and his face blew up the whole 60-inch Samsung TV. Everybody was laughing. I think after that, our first sergeant actually paused his face, and it was just this big face up there. And I was just like, oh boy, Jeff.
Yeah, on that flight, we were with some Air Force crew, and I remember that they had the book out, and they had a little seat buckle, and the guy was like, "We don't know how to use these things. We don't actually take people on our planes," because it was a fueler jet. That's all they had for it to transport men, all of us. It was half of us.
Half of us, yeah. It took two fuelers to get the whole company back.
Yeah.
One time.
The bathroom was broken, so they had a 5-gallon bucket, and the flight was how long? 12
to 14 hours straight in there.
Madrid, Spain to Bangor, Maine, and it was quite the adventure. But we were happy to be home.
We were happy to be home. That was
the best summer in Iraq. Yeah, 2004.
I don't think we slept. I'll be honest with you.
You remember when we were in Iraq and they said, first sergeant said that somewhere deep in the Army manual that a soldier can go 1 year on 4 hours of sleep. Remember they said like 4 hours? I was like, I don't know.
No.
But
I do remember that though now.
But we had some early mornings, late nights, and half the time we were pushing from Kuwait to Iraq, we were sleeping on top of the Humvee.
Yeah, I was back of a 5-ton. I'm just sleeping there or on the ground, sometimes sleeping, or in your Humvee seat, just sleeping up just like this.
What was your favorite food item that we had going from Kuwait to Iraq?
I think Skittles was a big one.
Remember the Otis Spunk Bar muffins? I think that the cases, they brought these spunk, they were the huge ones in the sack. And
the ones with like 400 calories. Like for a little muffin. That was a good one. That's a good memory right there.
Although we all went to go get some water, the water buffalo was gone. Remember it got stolen?
Yes.
Water buffalo was the large water container that we'd all take our canteens to and fill up our camelbacks and just, how many gallons?
200, 500.
Yeah, 500?
Yeah.
1,000 gallons? Anyway, it came off of a trailer. We misplaced it. We drove off of it. And we're like, where's the water at? No water.
In the desert, no water.
Great idea.
Probably Jeff at this point.
Hey, what about Jeff 20 years ago?
Jeff 20 years ago would have done double and triple push-ups. That's how strong he was. And he was also the fastest man in Fort Lewis at one point, too.
They did say that about me.
Yeah, so that is a fact.
I won the 100 to 200 and long jump.
But I could still outshoot him in basketball.
See, he doesn't even play it. I do.
We were in Afghanistan 2005. Jeff was the gunner of his platoon leader's initial Humvee, and I was driving a crane. And we were in probably a 2-mile long convoy going through the mountainous terrain of Afghanistan. There was a pass that we go over, you come down. I made it over with the crane.
Treacherous. It was terrible.
It was very dangerous. And all of a sudden the whole convoy just stopped. And I remember that somebody came and got me and said that a vehicle had flipped over. And it was a 5-ton truck. So I went back and I drove a crane back over this hill again, over this mountain. And we set up and then we recovered that vehicle. It was good to go. We moved on. Then down the road, it happened again. Another truck flipped over.
That's right.
Jeff was pulling security for me, 50 caliber machine gun. So I'm setting up the crane again. And by this time we had heavy enemy in the area and they were looking to get us. So I'm out sprinting out, trying to set up the crane, trying to recover this vehicle. And Jeff is yelling, "Go help him! Somebody go help him right now!" And I can hear the intensity and tone in his voice, how much he cared, like, somebody go help this guy right now. You know, this isn't good. But we ended up recovering that vehicle. We ended up pushing out. We ended up stopping because we did get attacked eventually. And we had helicopters supporting us. Afghan National Army was shooting mortars, and we had all kinds of people in support helping us. But luckily, nobody got hurt. The enemy was just suppressed, and then we just moved on. We ended up building this new fob. But that story always lives in my head right there, how much he was, just yelling to help for me to get help out of the people. I had probably like 6 guys in 2 seconds start sprinting over to me and help me set up the crane, helping me pull over this trailer, and we got everything hooked back on. It was a good ending to a rough day.
It sure was. Our folks here at Jeff Buys Your House, they'd never heard me yell.
No,
then
good.
It's like,
yeah, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it.
Different circumstances.
Yeah.
22 years ago.
22 years ago.
Crazy situation. Remember Captain Soitone was like, "Let's get down out of there. Let's charge the mountains." Remember that? He's a cowboy.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
we're not going anywhere. 12 to 14 hours to go 30 miles.
It didn't.
It was that treacherous of terrain.
Chicago traffic.
Oh, great. I'll move here next week.
That story continues to ring in my head for forever. It's one of those common things that we think about and talk about all the time.
I know.
That could have gone back quick. Chris was an amazing operator with all things, but a crane specifically in a combat environment, which most people probably don't think that really go hand in hand. But we needed that equipment at that point in time. That's all that it was going to take. And he had to unload, detach, set up a crane to lift a heavy box, put it right back into a
tiny trailer.
A trailer that fits as snug as programmed.
1.5 ton trailer
By himself while we're all, being engaged by enemy fire. It was a very interesting time. The Lord had his plan for us. He watched out for us, and it was amazing. So
that's a great story.
It was a great story. Well, Chris, thankful for your service. Retired Army, committed, most loyal soldier that I've ever met, most loyal guy that I've ever met. I told you that. I told my team that. That's no surprise to them. Here we are trying to pay some respect and honor to you and your service. And you obviously you're a McKenna guy, so Chicagoan.
Yeah.
And proud to be back home here in the great state of Illinois. Appreciate everyone. Thank you very much. And God bless America. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.